Welcome to your favorite bookish podcast, Fully Booked and Caffeinated. I'm Kelsey.
And I'm Heather.
And today we have another book to movie adaptation. We will be discussing and reviewing Bird Box. As usual, let's talk about our fuel for this discussion. What are you drinking, Heather?
A nice, crisp bottle of Pepsi.
Okay. Do you prefer soda in a can or a bottle?
Neither, to be honest.
Okay.
I guess
fountain all the way, right?
A fountain all the way, 100%.
Yeah.
But I would go can.
I agree.
But it has to be cold.
Yeah,
like,
cold can.
You can't pour it into like a glass of ice. Like it has to actually be like a cold can.
No, it's gotta be a cold can.
Because I feel like when you open a bottle, only the first couple sips are really good, and then it kind of like flattens like immediately. But I would definitely prefer a fountain soda.
I need the extra syrup, the extra carbonation.
Yeah, Eric had to
I
go
need
to
it from the
ShopRite.
Wawa machine where you select the syrups.
Wawa fountain drinks are top tier. But Eric had to go to ShopRite to buy like cherries, and I was like, "Can you get me a soda? I could use the caffeine."
Sometimes you just need a soda.
Exactly.
Okay, what coffee did you have this morning?
I got a cold brew because I need something stronger than the usual. So I went to Dunkin' and I got my caramel cold brew. But I saw that my friend had sent it to me, the Starbucks pumpkin drinks start in like 2 weeks. Or like maybe even sooner. And I'm just like...
Oh, I thought it was like August 26th.
Wait, hold on. Because she like
for the PSL specifically.
I love the pumpkin cold foam.
Oh, I do love the pumpkin cold foam.
I am excited about that. Oh yeah, you're right. August 26th. Oh, Italian sausage egg bites. I didn't clock that.
Oh, that sounds good.
That sounds really good, actually. And they're going to have a pecan oat milk cortado. Cortado? Cortado. I don't know how you say that word. I don't know coffee speak.
I don't know.
But I'm excited for the pumpkin cream cold brew because that's the only thing that's pumpkin that I actually enjoy.
Yeah, I do love their pumpkin cold foam.
But as per usual, I can't wait for the holiday drinks.
Always. I know.
They're so good.
Right now I'm having a cherry Coke in a can.
Very nice.
But this weekend I was having a rough day, so I was like, I'm gonna get myself a little treat, and I'm gonna check out a new coffee shop, because we were just talking about this at book club.
Yes.
How, like, we want to try out new coffee shops. So there's one that I've been wanting to try, but it's only open Monday through Friday. What is that?
Interesting.
Like,
That's
why
a
are you
choice.
closed on the weekend?
Yeah.
So I couldn't go there. So I went to this bakery that's in my town. It's called the Gingered Peach.
Oh, that sounds cute.
Yeah, and they have, like, obviously a whole bunch of pastries and stuff, and I got a cold brew. It was so good.
Nice.
Like, just simple and delicious, and I had some half and half in there, and I got myself some treats. They had, like, cookies that are, like, the thin, kind of crispy ones, but they're still gooey with the chocolate chips.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah, and then I got a Bialy. Have you ever had
seen
one?
those.
It's like a flat bagel.
Yeah, I've never had one, but I've seen them.
So this one was fig jam and goat cheese.
Oh, that sounds really good.
So good.
That sounds really yummy.
Yeah, so basically it's dangerous because I will be going back. And they had, like, so many delicious looking muffins and cinnamon rolls, and I love a breakfast pastry.
How far is it from you?
It's like 8 minutes, okay? It's not good.
Yeah, it's dangerous.
It's not good.
That's dangerous.
But it wasn't that expensive either. And they
That's
had,
good.
you know what, they had cannoli cruffins.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't like cannoli too much, but I was like, those
I
look
love
beautiful.
cannoli.
And I immediately texted Eric. I was like, you got to get yourself a cannoli cruffin. And he was like, oh, I've heard of that place because when he had volunteered at the Trenton Soup Kitchen, this bakery donates all of their, like, day-old pastries to the soup kitchen. Oh. It always, like, upsets me when you think about the fact that they make all of this stuff and then they have to either, like, give it away or throw it out or whatever. So at least they're, like, doing something good with it.
I agree. I love that.
So, needless to say, I will be going back. Fuck my life. Anywho,
It sounds
cheers.
good. I want to go.
Yes, we will have to take a trip there. Or maybe I'll get some pastries to have. Ooh, maybe I'll bring some to our next book. Okay, I'm sorry. Focus. Kelsey, focus. Okay, I got distracted. Anywho, all right. So, we're talking about Bird Box.
Yes.
Because when I was selecting a movie based on a book, first of all, I had just read this book pretty recently, so it was like fresh on the mind. And also, I'm like, I remember when everyone was freaking talking about this movie. Like, it was all over social media. It was huge. So I was like, oh, this must have come out in like 2020 when literally anything online turned into the craziest shit, like Tiger King. Mm-hmm. But, and you said you thought the same thing.
I did.
Alas, we were wrong. 2018.
Yeah.
All right, so first I'm going to read the book description, and then we'll compare. It doesn't tell us anything. This is just what we're doing, okay?
Okay.
Whatever. We're going with it.
Roll with the punches.
Okay. Something is out there. Something terrifying that must not be seen. One glimpse of it, and a person is driven to deadly violence. No one knows what it is or where it came from. 5 years after it began, a handful of scattered survivors remains, including Mallory and her 2 young children. Living in an abandoned house near the river, she has dreamed of fleeing to a place where they might be safe. Now that the boy and girl are 4, it's time to go. But the journey ahead will be terrifying. 20 miles downriver in a boat, blindfolded, with nothing to rely on but her wits and the children's trained ears. One wrong choice and they will die. Someone is following them all the while. But is it man, animal, or monster?
Whoa.
Yeah, that's pretty much what happens in the movie too, but they don't spoil it. It starts with this. Anyway, whatever. Okay, so the movie, like I said, came out in 2018, and it's a Netflix original. Mm-hmm. And it had over 45 million streams within the first week.
Holy crap.
Yeah. And apparently that's like 1/3 of the households that have Netflix, which is just like an astronomical number.
That's crazy.
Yeah. And now there's also a Bird Box Barcelona, which I didn't watch.
I saw that.
But, yeah.
I didn't even know
like,
there was like a sequel. Because I was like doing some like Googling as I was watching the movie, and I saw that pop up, and I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like a little reboot in Barcelona, I guess. So Netflix obviously had a big presence, but this was one of the first like big movies, big names, super popular. And it really solidified their place in like the streaming movie space as opposed to just TV series. Mm-hmm. Because before that we saw Netflix as, you know, having Netflix original TV series and stuff, but no one really looked at them as original movies. And around this time, obviously all these other streaming platforms are popping up. Mm-hmm. And it's like, what makes Netflix better than anyone else at that point? Mm-hmm. So this movie has a 64% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is, you know, better than half, so good for them. It has a lot of recognizable names in it. Sandra Bullock, obviously. Mm-hmm. Trevante Rhodes. Danielle McDonald, who was definitely coming up quickly around this time. Yeah. I remember when I saw her in this, I was like, oh, I just saw her in, like, a bunch of other things. And Sarah Paulson, who did a Drew Barrymore in Scream-esque appearance because she was gone not even 10 minutes into the movie. But apparently Sandra Bullock requested her specifically to play the sister. Yeah, so that makes a little more sense to why she was in this, you know, movie even for just a short time. All right, so let's get into the plot, and then we'll talk about the themes and the social commentary that's inevitable with every horror movie, of course. So I also forgot that this switches back and forth between the current and the past.
Yes.
And we start out with Sandra Bullock being mean to some kids and making them promise to listen to her and keep their blindfolds on the river. And then they climb into a boat and she starts paddling away completely blindfolded. And then we get a 5 years earlier text on the screen. Uh-huh. So we officially meet Mallory, who is kind of a recluse. Like, her sister wants to get her out of the house and kind of forces her to get out. But we right away see that not only is Mallory pregnant, but she is scared that she won't bond with her baby. Mm-hmm. And there's obviously a great relationship between the sisters, but they have some trauma from their parents.
Who doesn't?
Right? Like,
who doesn't love a little
like, this is the most relatable part.
Trauma.
So, on the news, there's reports of mass suicides in Russia and Europe, and now they're like, oh, it's fine because it's not in the U.S. But apparently it's spread to the U.S. at the exact same time that they're out of the house at a doctor's appointment. Go figure. And it's crazy because we really get right in. There's no lead up. We're in there. So Jess sees something as they're driving and crashes the car, then jumps in front of a truck, killing herself. And Mallory is just like, what is happening? She just found out about this thing like a half an hour ago.
I know.
And now all of a sudden her sister is a victim of it. So the streets are in absolute chaos. Like, cars crashing and burning and people running, people fighting. It's just like noise, chaos, everything. And a random passerby grabs Mallory and they're like, girl, you're pregnant. Let me help you. And they take refuge in some random house. Mm-hmm. So there's a bunch of strangers together, and also MGK is there.
That was... Well, I was, like, shook for a minute.
Why is MGK here?
I recognized him, but I couldn't remember who it was. And in my head, I was like, is that MGK? I'm like, no, it can't be. Mm-hmm. And then I Googled it, and I'm like, oh, it is MGK.
Uh-huh. He came up on my screen, and I was like, wow, that guy looks a lot like MGK. How unfortunate. And then he came up again, and I was like, oh, that is him.
And, like, so, he wasn't that big yet as, like, an artist. So I was kind of like, oh, this was when random.
So MGK was big, like, I want to say like 10 years ago when he was a rapper.
Yes.
But then he hid in a hole for a while, and then he came back out and was like, oh, I'm going to do like pop punk now.
Yeah.
So he had to like rebuild his career. And then the best thing he ever did for himself was date Megan Fox. So,
of course.
And now they have a baby. How unfortunate. But now she can watch Bird Box and see her dad fucking some girl. Anyway. Okay, so anyway, we don't know why MGK is here, but that's what it is. So all they know about this virus is that it's somehow passed through sight. And so we get our main cast who are all like holed up in this house together. Mallory, as we said, she's pregnant, but she's also a little antisocial, which like relatable. Mm-hmm. Tom is super hot and helpful and nurturing and emotional. And I love him. The best part of Mallory is Tom. Mm-hmm. Greg is the owner of the house, and he's affected just by seeing the security cameras. So he ends up dying pretty quickly after he opens his house up to these people. Douglas is a real asshole.
Yeah.
He did have to watch his wife die when she went out to save Mallory, but he's still just a dick. And apparently he's always been a dick because he's Greg's neighbor, and Greg is like, oh, he was suing me. And I'm like, and you, like, let him in your house? I don't know. I'd be like, if we're going to sacrifice someone, it's got to be that guy, right?
Yeah.
But he also, like, knows how to use a gun, so I guess he had his... He did help in some ways. Olympia, who comes, like... There's no concept of time. I don't know how much longer this is, but Olympia does show up pretty shortly after everyone else. She's also pregnant, but kind of annoying. Mm-hmm. And she knows that she's annoying, which is good, because we love the self-awareness. And then we have Charlie. He's our narrator at the beginning, or sometimes it's called an audience surrogate. So he basically spells out, oh, this is what the curse is. This is what is happening. Here it is in mythology. Like, he basically sounds like a conspiracy theorist, but then he starts, like, backing it up with history and all this stuff. And this is who we get a lot of times in horror movies, who has to explain what they can't explain through dialogue.
Okay.
And usually one of the best characters who dies an untimely death. as we will see. So everyone is definitely wary of each other, and it's hard because they have basically no information, no plan, but they know they have to at least plan for the short term and figure out food and supplies. Mm-hmm. And something tells me Mallory was not eating more than everyone else, but Douglas thinks that she was because she's pregnant. I don't know. It's weird. So Tom is not only hot, but he's also smart. And he masterminds one of my favorite parts of the movie, which is the trip to the grocery store.
Yeah, this was really cool.
I love this. So they use the GPS on the car and the proximity sensors to get to the store, and somehow they don't hit any other cars. But they do run over a lot of dead bodies.
They do.
And the dangerous wind, is that what we're calling it? Like,
I don't know.
I'm unsure. It surrounds the car, but they eventually make it inside the grocery store. And somehow it hasn't been looted just because Charlie had the key.
Yeah.
Okay. And Douglas goes immediately to the liquor aisle. I was kind of like, would I be Douglas or would I be the cop girl? I don't remember her name.
Rosa?
Who just...
Or no. No, her
real name is Rosa.
Her real name is Rosa.
I think it starts with an L. Lucy. Well, I don't know. Irrelevant. But she says like 10 words in the whole movie. But she does immediately go for the snack aisle and opens up a bag of chips. And so I was like, oh, that's also relatable.
Yes.
So Douglas gets super drunk and says they should stay at the grocery store, which I kind of agree.
I did too. I was like,
why are you leaving?
Like a smart idea.
Yeah, like, and they're like, well, we can't just leave them. Like, go back, get them, bring them back to the grocery store, bring some blankets, bring some shit. You know, there's a generator there. Like, anyway, but then Charlie dies, so that plan is spoiled because, like, bad vibes, you know, because he goes out to get fish fingers, who's, I don't know. We didn't get enough Charlie. I loved Charlie.
No, I know. I was a little bummed. I wish there was more Charlie.
Because he's like our comic relief.
Yeah, 100%.
And he only has like 5 minutes of screen time total.
Literally.
Like, it's not
Literally.
great. Mm-hmm. So here's where we get our birds. Because for some reason they have birds at the grocery store. Not sure. But the birds seem to sense when the creatures are near. Yeah. So it's like a little bird alarm. And there's a little irrelevant scene after this, but it's where Douglas and Mallory toast to hoping there's more. And it's kind of like a foreshadowing because Mallory loses that hope over the course of this movie and instead turns to purely survival.
Yeah.
And so after the grocery store incident, MGK and the girly cop, we don't remember her name, steal the car and leave. Because, I mean, you know that they have to get rid of some people in this house. There's too many people in the house. And they also have to eliminate the solution to the food problem by taking away the character's means of escape. So this is like, this all has to happen in the equation of the horror movie. You know what I mean?
I mean, you would know best. You're the horror film queen.
I mean, this isn't a great example, but we're going with it. So during all of this, we get switches back to the present with them on the river. And they stop for supplies. Stuff happens. But basically all you need to know is that Mallory hates the little girl.
Yeah.
It's very uncomfortable.
Very uncomfortable.
So back in the house, they get this Looney Tune named Gary. And he's sketched from the beginning. He tells a story about how some people can see the creatures and not immediately kill themselves or others. And we'll get back to that. So even though he's weird, they let him stay. And Olympia and Mallory's water breaks basically at the exact same time, like within 5 minutes of each other. Is this like a syncing thing, like periods?
I don't know. And I was also wondering, I was going to ask you, was this part of the book, like the pregnancy,
yes.
like them having
yes.
I was wondering if it was some kind of like, if the dangerous winds like made it happen, like if it was kind of like one of those situations.
Yeah, because I'm like,
they
a
weren't
stress
due
thing.
Yeah, they weren't due at the same time. I mean, they were close in proximity to, like, due dates. Like, Mallory was end of September and Olympia was October. So, I mean, that's fine. Mm-hmm. But, like, the fact that it happened at the same time, like, simultaneously, and just, like, the whole vibe of the scene, I was curious if it was maybe, like, the entities doing.
Yeah, I think that that's a really good point. I think it's hard to say because they don't see the entities before that. So is it just like a general vibe thing?
Well, because also because like Gary's there and he's kind of like, you know, the gospel for it. So
yeah, so Gary is obsessed with the babies because it's kind of like this new generation that's going to see the beauty of the creatures.
I didn't love that.
And I saw some weird thing online about how the creatures are like representative of unborn babies. I don't know. I didn't get into it. It sounded way too conspiracy for me.
Yeah.
But the point is, this is why we have absolutely no concept of time, because they were not 8.5 months pregnant. Neither of them.
Yeah.
Like they were pregnant, but they weren't that pregnant. So like, have they been in this house for months? Or has it been a week? We don't know.
I know. It's hard to tell.
Yeah. And everyone just obviously looks the same. So we don't know. But Olympia's water breaks first, and then Mallory's breaks. And this is truly me if I was ever pregnant. She's like, no, I'm not doing that. And they're like, well, the baby's coming. And she's like, no, I'm not doing that. And so they make her go upstairs. And then Mallory gives birth in like 5 minutes, and Olympia is in labor for hours. And just really... Olympia's getting the shit out of the
labor
stick.
Is not a good time. Not a good time at all.
Well, good thing they had that old lady there, because she was like, I got this. She was a midwife, apparently.
Yeah.
So, while they're upstairs giving birth, Gary has an episode, and he starts taking out all of these drawings that he's made, which are never explained, but it's just to give you the idea that he has something sinister going on. Mm-hmm. Which, like, these pictures were creepy as fuck. I would have liked a little more explanation.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, it would have actually been cool to tie those in somehow, but that doesn't happen. So Gary has this episode and uncovers all the windows. And then he goes upstairs and he forces Olympia to look, and Mallory protects herself and, like, grabs the babies, and Olympia kills herself. Then he forces open the old lady's eyes, and she stabs herself in the neck with scissors.
That was brutal.
Which is quite graphic.
Yeah.
And this was the kill that I remembered the most, because I remember how graphic it was. And so by the end of that, Tom saves the day, and the only people left are Mallory, Tom, and the 2 babies. Mm-hmm. Everyone else is dead. And also, he put the birds in the freezer. Why didn't you just put the birds outside or something?
I guess because he didn't want to go outside.
Was he trying to kill them, or just make it so they couldn't hear it?
It was making so that they couldn't sense, I think, what he was doing.
I was like, put him in a closet? I don't know. The freezer was weird. But this was like a fancy house with like a see-through freezer.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's not important, but it was weird. So then we jump to 5 years later, and we kind of get a little bit of a hint of how they've been living the past 5 years. Mm-hmm. The kids are now kids, and Mallory and Tom are romantically involved, and training the kids to basically hear and live in this apocalyptic world. So we see that, you know, they have kind of a system of going to other houses and getting supplies that they can get. And they've kind of built this house. Like, you see how they've been existing.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Also, during one of their little excursions, they find Pop-Tarts. Imagine 5 years after the world ended, how good a Pop-Tart would taste.
So good.
Oh, a strawberry one? Forget it.
Forget pure nostalgic moment.
Oh my gosh.
You would be in.
I would be. Whew, so good. Anyway, and then when she's telling the kids, she's like, this is what strawberry tastes like. And I'm like, no, it's not. That's not what strawberry tastes
Artificial
like.
Strawberry.
It's delicious, but that's not what strawberry tastes like. Anyway, also not important, but very essential. Mm-hmm. So as we kind of are getting accustomed to their current life and like seeing how they're dealing with everything, they get a radio from someone who has a compound and gives them instructions to go down the river to find this compound. And that's what brings us to the current timeline of them on the river. Mm-hmm. And obviously, Mallory and Tom disagree on a lot. They're arguing back and forth about going to this compound. And they also really disagree on parenting. So
very much so.
She hasn't even named the kids because they are named boy and girl, which is like naming your cat. But it's different because they're humans.
I think it's like an emotional attachment thing.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Which, like, I'm sorry, Mallory, but you were worried you wouldn't bond with your child. You're contributing to the problem. We'll get into it. That's something for later. Anyway, so she's really mean to them and really stern and, you know, kind of like a drill sergeant. And Tom is just trying to be a cool dad.
Yeah, he is.
So it's tense. And meanwhile, there are basically these crusaders or groups of people traveling around trying to get any survivors to open their eyes and see the creatures, the wind, whatever we're calling it. And they get cornered by a group of them. And Tom, after 5 years of not taking off his blindfold, takes his blindfold off to protect the family. And he sees what they're seeing, and he shoots himself.
Yeah.
Tom. I never knew
you.
I miss you so much. This is what ultimately motivates Mallory to make the trip down the river because, first of all, she can't bear to live in the house without him.
Yeah.
Like, with this life that they've built, kind of. And she knew that before he died, he really wanted to go. And he basically, like, made her promise to go if he didn't make it.
Yeah.
So I think that she does it kind of for him because she was so against it, but she's like, wow, Tom is right, like, all the time. Maybe I should actually fucking listen to him.
In this scenario, the man is always right.
Honestly, like, you know I hate defending a man, but Mallory, be a little nicer.
Yeah.
So, and, well, we'll get to it. Okay, so we're back to the current, and Mallory they're about to go through the rapids, okay? The rapids in this fucking river. And can you imagine going through the rapids blindfolded? I can't even go through the rapids with my wits about me and a life jacket on.
No, thank you.
So someone has to open their eyes to look at the rapids and direct Mallory to make sure they get through it. But Mallory can't look because then, like, she has to survive to get whichever surviving child, you know, to safety. And it's super fucked up because Mallory's about to decide that the girl has to open her eyes. And the little girl knows that Mallory would never sacrifice the boy in that way. Yeah. And it's, like, very uncomfortable. But then Mallory has a moment, basically realizing, like, she can't lose another person.
No.
And decides that no one will look. And they'll just...
wing it.
They'll wing it. And they're in this janky little rowboat on some rapids. And the boat capsizes, obviously. And when would these kids have learned how to swim? They haven't. And they lived by a lake, but no one had life jackets. Like, they lived by this river. Where'd you get the boat? No one had life jackets? I don't know. Point. But of course, they're all fine. And now they just get spit out of the river exactly where they need to be. And they just have to follow the birds.
Yeah, the birds.
Follow the birds. So the creatures start whispering at Mallory, like, in people's voices, and it's giving Jabberjay from the Hunger Games.
Yeah.
But then it's obviously so messed up because then they start whispering to the kids in Mallory's voice. And Mallory made it explicitly clear that they have to listen to every single thing she says, but also that they can't take their blindfolds off. So they're like, you're giving me conflicting information. You're mad at me if I don't follow the rules. You're going to be mad at me if I do follow the rules.
Make it make sense.
Yeah, and, like, they have nothing to go off of besides what Mallory tells them. So if she's saying, no, it's safe, you can now take off your blindfold, they're like, oh, okay. So it's just, like, very painful to watch, but they don't take their blindfolds off. Anyway, so we haven't really seen this before, though, like the whispering.
Yeah.
And it definitely adds an extra supernatural element. So before it's just, they keep calling them creatures, but really it's just some wind. But now it's like wind that has a special ghostly power to be talking to them. So finally they make it to their destination, and it turns out that it's a school for the blind. So they're not affected by the creatures because they can't see them. And the birds, they have like a zillion birds, and these birds warn the sighted people when the creatures are coming so that they can cover their eyes. And I remember when I first saw this, I was like, wow, that is brilliant.
I know.
So smart. Then she sees her doctor, who was in Bend It Like Beckham, which was one of my favorite movies growing up, and I immediately recognized her. Anyway, once again, not important. But she names her kids all of a sudden, even though they're 5 years old, which seems traumatic, but I guess it's the least traumatic thing to ever happen to them.
Yeah.
So I guess it's fine, but it's great because now the kids can be around other kids, there's other kids playing there, there's other people, and the worst part is that Tom would have loved it there.
Oh yeah, 100%.
He would have been like, look, Mallory, I told you.
Exactly. I was right all along.
But he wouldn't have said I told you so, because Tom was too nice for that. And truly, if the world wasn't ending, they would have had a very nice relationship, because Mallory needed someone like Tom to balance her out. And she wouldn't have been so mean.
I agree.
She just needed a younger guy to give her that D. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway, once again, not important. Okay, so, biggest issue I have. Why are they creatures? We never see them.
I know.
No one knows that they are.
I was, like, disappointed by this, because I had to, like, Google it, because I was like, do they ever show up? Because, like, I actually couldn't remember. And then I was like, oh, like, I get, like, understanding that maybe the creep factor is that they're kind of like an illusion, and we never see what they actually look like. But, I don't know, I feel like I would have preferred to have some kind of actual physical entity to look at least at one point in the movie. Yeah, so that's why I'm kind of conflicted, because obviously a lot of horror movies do this where it's like hidden monsters, or they call it like unseen terrors, unseen forces, stuff like that. And it's basically this idea that the unknown is actually scarier, and if we see the creature, it takes away some of the power they have. And also, I mean, I'm trying to think of like specifics like Maze Runner or like Cloverfield Lane, like ones where you see the creatures and they're so like cheesy or like so CGI heavy that it takes you out of the story. So I definitely agree with that 100%, but I think my issue is that there wasn't enough definitive evidence from the characters that they were physical creatures. So like when we see them, they're just wind. So like we're basically blindfolded because we just see wind. And everyone who has seen them refers to them in a more like all-encompassing way. Like it doesn't feel like they are focusing on specific creatures. When Gary sees them, he's like, look, it's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. And it's like, if they were creatures, that doesn't really go. Yeah. So it's like, I'm not specifically upset that we didn't see them. I'm upset that we are just as confused as we were at the beginning. I know. I feel like there really wasn't any real resolution as to what exactly it was, which was like disappointing in a sense. And it could have worked in that way because regardless of how they're portrayed, the creature is supposed to be this unseen force that drives people crazy. Because obviously the people who live to tell the tale have not seen it. So that's why it's this unseen force. And it's basically giving the message that a lot of times we fear the things that we can't understand or we can't see more than things that we can see. Yeah. Which would work. But then I feel like we would be better off going with this like vibe
mysterious wind, but then is it too much of a ripoff of all these other movies
Yeah,
that have
that's a good
this
point.
this wind-borne virus, you know? Mm-hmm. There's just too much to dive into there. But that brings me to my next point, which is why I said we'll get back to Gary, because there's a lot of controversy about how this movie portrays mental health, and I do agree with it. So basically what's implied is that people who have mental illnesses are not affected in the same way as people who do not have mental illness. So he tells the story about these people who broke out of this insane asylum.
Yeah.
And he was one of those people. And those people were able to see the creatures and not immediately turn to violence or kill themselves or kill others. So instead of turning to that violence, they say the creatures are beautiful, and their mission is to get everyone to see the beauty. So basically the way I was thinking of it is like the quote-unquote regular people see the creatures and do like a 180 and go to violence. Mm-hmm. Or they go crazy. Yeah. But the people with the mental illness are already crazy, so they do the 180 and go back to being regular. But the problem with this is that this stigma is that the people with the mental health issues want others to die or want them to turn violent. So while regular people just hurt themselves or maybe the people in the immediate vicinity, the people struggling with their mental health become a danger to others specifically and on a much bigger scale. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
What do you think about all of this? Like, just, I guess that element of some people, specific people being able to see.
Well, yeah, because I mean, it's not nice because then you're trying to say the people with mental health kind of are crazy because they're the only ones that can they're not negatively affected by this, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. And so they get kind of like, it's, like you said, it's very much like a stigma, like it's stigmatizing the people. And then it's not fair to say because mental health can show up in so many different ways. So you're saying that, because like obviously I feel like Mallory is dealing with mental health issues. Mm-hmm. So why wouldn't she like be like one of the mental health crazy people? Mm-hmm. Like it's not,
well,
I don't think it's fair.
Postpartum at the end of the world.
Nope, don't want to. No, thank you. No, thank you. So I don't know. I don't think that's a fair like assumption to make about the movie because I feel like it doesn't. Mental health is too broad, and there's too much. There's so many factors to mental health. So to say that if you have mental health issues and you're in a crazy asylum, then that just means that, you know, you're able to.
Your mission is to hurt people. Yeah.
I don't.
Well, because
that's
like the thing. Like, if it was just them seeing it and being able to see it and say like, "Oh, it's so beautiful," what is everyone else worrying about? But the fact that his goal is to go to these other places and ingratiate himself and then force people when he knows what's going to happen and force people to, against their will, see something.
Like, and he's also still violent because like he viciously kills Douglas and like he's aggressive to everybody, so it's, I don't know, I don't think that conspiracy theory about like the mental health is like a correct assumption to make.
Yeah, I think it's definitely, I see why it's criticized for sure because it's so blatantly Gary has mental health issues and then he ends up ruining everything that they've got going on. Like they have this, you know, perfect little life that they're living in, this normal that they have, you know, been accustomed to, and all of a sudden he comes in and ruins it. So that's like the only portrayal we get of someone with mental illness. Yeah,
because then you have like those crusaders, like, are they mentally ill? Because they're able to walk around unblindfolded.
Yeah, and it is implied that they are. And that the only people who are surviving are quote-unquote crazy.
Yeah.
But it's also another thing that's never spelled out.
No. Why would anyone ever want to spell out mental health?
Of course not. Now, another big theme, which I'm hoping you can speak to also, is obviously the theme of motherhood.
Yeah.
And how Mallory has to balance between surviving and making sacrifices and her kids being happy and just being kids. How did you feel about how this was portrayed?
It was actually tough to, like, watch, because especially, like, you could tell the difference in her relationship with boy compared to girl, and, like, that was, like, really hard to, like, watch, because you have this young girl who doesn't even realize that, like, she lost her mother, you know, and that, like, Mallory isn't, like, her actual mom. And, you know, Mallory tells Olympia, and when they're in the house before anything even happens, like, I will take care of your baby, you know, don't, like, I got it. And then, like, to see her treating the girl like that is just, like, not nice to witness.
Yeah, because, like you said, she does promise Olympia that she's going to take care of her.
And then, you know, like we talked about before, like, Tom has this kind of, he wants to create, like, this fairy tale story for the children and let them, Mallory says the best, he's like, you're giving them hope when you shouldn't be giving them hope. But, like, I disagree. You want to give the kids hope, because then it gives them more of a reason to live and want to survive, because then they can believe that maybe there is something out there. So Mallory is very much like I don't want to call it, like, a bad mom, because that's, like, not necessarily the right phrasing, but she's very strict, and she's kind of taking away their childhood, like, ripping it away from them, which, granted, I know it's not the great world to live in right now with, like, a childhood, but it takes her going to the blind camp and being back in a community for her to kind of flip the switch of, oh, I've really been not great to these kids, and it's not fair to them. Like, I actually cried when she named them. I literally was like, oh, like, this is actually hitting me, like, really hard, because you can, like, recognize that she realizes where she went wrong, and
100%.
You definitely witness it the most when she says no one is gonna look, because then she realizes, like, oh, I was really gonna let this 4-year-old 5-year-old girl go because she's not physically mine. Like, she was not born of my body, you know. And it's like, I feel like once you become a mom, you would take in any child if you could. So it was an interesting dynamic to see her go from, like, this very closed off human being to, like, now knowing that they're kind of, like, saved in a sense. She's able to strip away that negativity behind, like, motherhood and actually embrace it. So, like, it sucks that it took that long. It took, like, this moment, you know, and it's like, and you could just tell.
And Tom dying.
Yeah.
Because, like, I definitely think, like you said, that Tom is like, we want to give them hope, and Mallory's like, why would we give them hope? They're never going to have a normal childhood, blah, blah, blah. But I think another aspect of it is that Tom sees how much Mallory has changed.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
By
you could
just
tell.
switching into, like, only survival mode.
And he can, like, tell, like, you can see him trying to get through to her and be like, you have to give them a little bit of hope. Like, you're going to kind of ruin them as human beings in a sense, because you're going to make them feel like everything has to be one way. And that's not fair. Like, you're literally stripping away their childhood and their innocence.
And telling them that they can never be happy, and the entire point of living is just to survive.
Yeah, that really resonated with me too, because I just feel like that's just such a theme in all aspects of life in general. The feeling of, like, living to survive. Like, you're here on this, like, you get this one life on Earth, and you should be able to embrace it as best as you possibly can. So it is unfortunate that you have these scenarios, because this happens in, like, real life too. Like, people are just living to survive, and, like, that's so like depressing. Which, hello, mental health, you can see why there's such a crisis.
100%, yeah.
So, you know, because, like, you should still, even if, like, life is hard, you should still be able to find joy in some of the moments. And so the fact that Mallory is, like, not even letting them have any joy, you know, there was the Pop-Tart moment, okay, fun, but, like, you
saw her mask slip a little bit.
Yeah, like, you should be giving that to them more. It doesn't have to be all the time, but like you need to at least allow the children to be kids for like a hot second.
And I think a big part of it also is you have to, like you said, find some type of happiness. You have to create your own happiness. Like there's something to be said about people who are really unhappy with their lives and stuff. And it's like, yes, I know that there are obviously circumstances we can't control and privilege and all of these things. Yes. But on top of that, it's like you still have the conscious choice to try and make your life better with what you're given.
I like
and to kind of
that.
like like to snuff that out completely when they're just little kids. I get why she does it, but it's still so hard to watch. And I did appreciate that Mallory was kind of like nervous about being a mom ahead of time, because if she didn't have that initial hesitation towards motherhood, it kind of sends the message that the mom is always going to be strict and a bitch and setting rules, and the dad just gets to be cool dad. But instead, we got Mallory and Tom's personalities before that switch happened. Like, Tom was already, you could tell he was very nurturing. He was always, you know, trying to get Mallory to sit down or to eat or do whatever. And he said, you know, his sister has a bunch of kids and he loves spending time with them. And
it's like he was always meant to be a dad.
Exactly. And
or be like a caretaker.
And he has just that natural inclination and desire to be a caretaker. Whereas Mallory never had that, and she kind of was nervous about it and had to force herself to do it. And that's why it's even worse, because, you know, she was only preparing herself for one child she didn't even think she'd be able to bond with. And obviously she was able to, but then it's like, oh, now I have another child that I never signed up for, and I didn't have that initial bond. It's just hard, but I did appreciate that we saw some of their personalities beforehand, because I think it would have made it even worse.
Yeah, because you can definitely tell that after the children are born and the house gets decimated, like the community that they created, she definitely changed. It was kind of like a switch in that sense, that she realized at that moment that it was almost like the fact that she almost lost the kids kind of made it harder for her to even connect, because now she's like, I just need to keep them alive.
Yeah, that's a really good point, because she sees like, oh, the only thing between them and dying is me. Yeah. Like, it's not only so much responsibility that she didn't want.
No, and like, this is like a common joke or like running thing between like becoming a mom. Like, you don't get a fucking handbook. Like, you have a baby and then you leave the hospital within 48 hours and you have no idea how to take care of this thing. Like, there's no guidebook. You're just kind of like winging it. Everyone does it differently. Like, you just adapt. You just like, you survive. Like, you learn to, it's survival of the fittest in a sense. And so she did what she had to do. But, like, she could have been a little bit more caring, because children do need caring and love.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just, it's understandable, because obviously it's a horribly shitty situation that you could never prepare for.
No, especially being thrust with two newborns at the same time. It's like the equivalent of having twins, you know, and she was not mentally prepared to even take on two children, like you said. She was kind of only mentally preparing herself for one, and she already had these fears of bonding, and she comes from a very broken family herself, or broken in the sense that there wasn't any really love or care. Like, she makes it very well known that the dad was abusive. So, you know.
So she thought she was going to have all this support. She thought she was going to have her sister to, like, be there for her, and
like, her mom is clearly still alive, because she does call the mom. So, I mean, I'm sure she probably thought she would have the mom. So, it just to kind of, like, lose all that, you know. Listen, motherhood is not easy. And, like, I think that this movie does try to, like, portray that.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, Mallory is doing what she thinks is best. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Nope.
But like you said, it takes something very big. And for her to feel not safe, but some semblance of safety, to realize, maybe I've been going about this the wrong way. But it's not too late because, you know, these kids are going to have trauma regardless.
Yeah. Every kid's going to have trauma.
I know that's right.
We're going to do our best to not give Billy any trauma, but sometimes things are out of our control.
Exactly. And in this economy. And then obviously we get a lot of messages about like community and trust. Yeah. So obviously right off the bat, we have this house full of people who have to work together in order to survive. And they really want to trust each other because otherwise, how the hell are they going to get through the end of the world? But it's hard because everyone is scared. Everyone's on edge. They don't know each other at all. And they don't know each other's motivations or what each person personally would do to survive.
Yeah.
And it's especially scary for Mallory and Olympia because they're not only putting their lives in the hands of strangers, but also their unborn babies. And even in the present, we see this life that Tom and Mallory have built for themselves with the kids. And as soon as Tom is gone, Mallory needs to go to the compound, even though she was against it, but she knows that she needs help and she needs that sense of community.
It's like, again, it's like survival. It's like she knows she can't survive on her own.
Last but not least, what did you think about the birds?
I mean, I liked the concept that the birds were able to sense, so it's kind of like an alarm. But, like, I don't know, I kind of wish they were involved a little bit more. Is that weird to say?
So they are in the book.
Yeah, I would hope so, because it's also called, like, Bird Box.
Yeah,
like,
there's a lot more bird situations.
Yeah, so, like, but, like, I really liked the ending with, like, the trellis, and you see all the birds, and, like, that they're able to alert the people that, the normal people that something as bad is coming, you know? I was like, oh, I wish there was, like, more of that. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, so I would never choose birds, because birds freak me out, but I get the idea of animals, because animals can sense danger 100%. So I do love that concept. I did see a theory online that the birds are representative of Mallory and the two kids, especially at the end where they're at the commune and she sets the birds free. So they are, Mallory and the kids are free to live, but they're still trapped.
Yeah, that's actually, I like that. I think
like
that
they have,
yeah.
Because like the birds had just this little box, they had just their little house, and then now the birds are free in this compound, and like they're free in the sense that they can move around without blindfolds, but they still can't run amok.
No.
So, I don't know if that's what they're going for specifically, but I like that theory.
No, I like that theory a lot too, and there was 3 birds. So, I like that actually. I think that's good.
So, in the book, they had the birds like outside the front door, like basically as like an alarm bell.
Okay.
But then there were also a lot of dogs involved in the book, and that got weird because sometimes they were affected and sometimes they weren't. So they couldn't put all that in the movie because it didn't make sense in the book either.
Well, I mean, we've talked about it. Sometimes I feel like there's some things that are written in books that you really can't really put on the screen or fit into like the story. So I get it.
Yeah, like obviously that's why books are changed when they're made into movies, because they are going for the most entertaining and visual. And also, you have to figure that, you know, they have to develop these characters and have all of these plot points and action and all this stuff in a 2-hour movie when a book is obviously a lot longer.
This movie was 2 hours. It didn't feel like it was 2 hours. And there was not enough. Like, I was like, this movie was 2 hours, that's all you gave me. I was actually, like, very underwhelmed with that.
I 100% agree, and I literally have in my rating...
Oh, sorry.
No. About, like, I agree completely.
Yeah. Like, I was like, oh, okay. Because I was like, how long is this? I'm like, oh my god, it's 2 hours. I'm like, it's fine, I'll get through it. And then, like, we're getting there, and I'm like, oh, I'm close to the end. And I'm like, okay, but, like, where's the substance?
Like, but nothing has happened. Okay, the problem is that I felt like so much was over-explained and then
Yes.
so much was under-explained. Like, the balance was so weird. So at the beginning, you have Sarah Paulson explicitly laying out the sisters' relationship, their parents'
Yes.
relationship, Mallory's feelings on motherhood. It's like exposition heavy. Because Sarah Paulson is in this movie for 5 minutes and she gonna make sure you know. And then, so we get all that explanation, but then we're left without enough explanation of the creatures. Why do they turn to suicide?
Yeah.
Why is it sometimes violence against others and sometimes suicide? And yes, the going mad part is explained, but why suicide? Because sometimes they're just hurting other people. Whatever. Anyway, it just was not balanced, and I agree there was not enough substance. I feel like they either had to choose the characters or the plot and choose to really develop one or the other, and instead we kind of got like a surface level of both.
Yeah, but I mean, Sandra Bullock's acting skills were on point, though.
Oh, the acting was 10 out of 10.
She can do no wrong, so that was great. But I feel like, again, but that was also kind of like, she was so much more superior than like the other actors too, so it was kind of like imbalanced in that way as well. Because I feel like not everyone was living up to. I mean, John Malkovich did, because John Malkovich is also like an amazing actor. So like I get that, and like Trevante Rhodes too, like the three, you know, the main characters, but even like the secondary characters, because even like that whole scene, one of the scenes between Olympia and Mallory, when it just felt imbalanced too. Like, while I get like Olympia's kind of like a needy character, just her acting skills compared to like Sandra Bullock, it was too uneven for me, and like I kind of felt like icky about it. And I had an icky feeling watching that scene play out. You know,
I agree with that. I feel like everyone except for a handful were very like B-level horror movie.
Yeah, because even like Gary's character, Tom Hollander, who I love because he was in season 2 of White Lotus, and he was one of the gays trying to kill Jennifer Coolidge. He was so good in White Lotus. He was
100%.
so bad in this. And I'm just like, oh no.
But then it's like, did he even have a chance to be good in this?
No, I know. Like I don't know.
All of these people were so surface level.
So surface level, and it just felt rushed, like you said. Like, I don't know. Some things were, like, really well done. Like, the whole grocery store scene was so well done. But then, like, the whole scene with Gary trying to make them see him, like, it was so quick. It was fast. Like, there was just not enough substance to, like, really get you emotionally attached to that moment and feel anything. I was just kind of like, oh, like, it's over. Okay, weird, you know?
Yeah, I think that whole scene could have been done a lot better, because Gary not only would have tried a lot harder to get them all...
There was so much potential to, like, make him really be a villain in that moment.
Yeah, I think they really obviously picked Mallory and Tom and fleshed out their characters as much as they could, but then you're just kind of left with a hole for the rest. Like, even the way that, like, MGK and the girly cop just existed for the storyline until they didn't need them anymore. And it's like, we didn't need them at all.
No,
and then
honestly.
I was like, where did the old lady go? Completely forgot she was there until she hits Douglas over the head with and I was like, where have you been?
I know. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Anything else you want to discuss before we rate it?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Our rating scale today is human speed bumps.
Oh my god.
He was like, it's just a speed bump. It's just a speed bump. It was a curb. It was a curb.
A human curb, but still.
It was like, squish.
Squish squash.
All right, so 0 to 10 human speed bumps.
I gotta give it a 3.
Okay.
I'm gonna give it a 3.
That's harsh. I agree. I'm just saying it's harsh.
Yeah. It would have been lower if Sandy Bullock wasn't in it. My girl Sandy.
Yeah.
Because it was, I don't know, like I said, like, there was so much potential that could have been actually done, like, with this movie. And I feel like it was so hyped when it first came out that, like, I obviously enjoyed it. when I watched it, because you're like, oh, we're gonna watch Bird Box. I was like, oh, I'm actually excited to like rewatch
Me
this.
too.
And then I rewatched it and I was like, why was I excited to watch this? Like, this actually was not good.
And I'm like, I really liked it when I first watched it. And yes, partly because of the hype, I guess, and because I do like apocalyptic movies.
Yeah.
Is it because like we're oversaturated with apocalyptic movies now? Or is it because we've lived through a real life virus?
Maybe.
That almost decimated the world. On the rewatch, it was just okay.
It was
like,
just okay.
I do remember when I first watched it being like, wow, Sandra Bullock made that movie.
Yeah. Like 100%.
So like, I still feel that way.
I still felt that too. I was like, her acting chops compared to so many people in this movie, I'm like, you can't even reach her level. Like, it was just like the casting.
And that's obviously part of the reason why so many people watched it, because of her, and then because like it is so like memeable, and like people were doing the Bird Box challenge and all this stuff. So for the reasons I said, that the balance was just like, listen, I know that a horror movie leaves a lot up to interpretation, and usually I like that, but it just felt like there wasn't enough direction for us to even have a concrete opinion. And I gave it 4 human speed bumps. I was a little more generous because I liked the suspense, obviously, but it just felt really unoriginal, and compared to other movies of this same genre, it was definitely not the best.
Yeah.
And I think, especially after COVID and seeing how many movies there are that are this same idea of the apocalypse, like something traveling through the air or through sight, or, you know, like The Quiet Place, or like, you know, there's The Fog, The Mist, whatever. There's so many movies like this that it's like, this definitely wasn't the best one.
No.
So, yeah, the 4 is like mostly Sandra Bullock, and I like to look at Tom.
But I will say, the little girl was a good actress.
Yeah, the little boy was not.
No,
the little girl was.
But the little girl gave a lot, actually. I was pleasantly surprised with her, and I feel like she really hit her marks. I don't know that she's done anything else since Bird Box.
No, she has. She has. Okay. I looked her up. The reason I looked her up is because the one scene where the boy and the girl are sleeping, they look like twins. And so I looked to see if they were brother and sister. She was in another horror movie.
She would be good in horror movies. I think that she has that kind of face and reactivity.
Yeah, I thought that her acting was really good, and you barely get any interaction between Mallory and the girl, but you understand their fraught relationship. Like, it's so sad because the little girl is trying to go make sure Mallory is okay, and that's why she disobeys her. Like, when she leaves the boat and Mallory absolutely loses her shit, but she loses her shit because she wants the little girl to be safe, and she wants to feel like she's gonna listen to her, but she's like, I can't trust you. I'm like, oh my god, she's 4. Like, she's 4. She's also so cute.
I know.
So yeah, she was pretty good too. But yeah, I don't regret my pick. I'm glad I rewatched it because I did have it in my mind that this was a lot better.
Yeah, no, I mean, listen, we're here for all the good and the bad reviews. Give it everything.
Yeah, and before you complain and tell us that we're wrong, rewatch it. Watch it. Just rewatch it first, and then we can then we'll take the difference of opinion. But I'm like, I was remembering it a lot different.
Yeah.
And I didn't love the book either, so...
Yeah, and you didn't you read the sequel, right? Mallory?
Oh, yeah.
And you didn't like that, right?
Sequel.
That's what I thought. Okay. Yeah. That was just like last month, right?
I can't spoil it, but it's like nothing happens.
Oh, good.
Like, it's a whole book of just nothing happens.
Great. Love that.
Yeah. Anywho, All right. Anything else?
No.
No. God, no. Okay. That's all we have for you today. If you like what you heard, please make sure to follow, subscribe, and rate and review the podcast on whatever platform you use. If you have any book recommendations or questions for us, you can email us at fullybookedcalfpod@gmail.com. Also, be sure to follow us on TikTok and Instagram at fullybookedcalfpod to see our upcoming reads. Thanks for checking us out, and remember,
if you need us, we're fully booked.
Bye.